Hello everyone, this is Carlie from createmess.com, and today's video is all about One Book July and whether I am going to take part in One Book July. Only just recently found out about this challenge. Believe it's the second year running, and believe the basic principle behind it is to cut down on just being overcomplicated in your planning system and really make it the most basic that it can be, which is to have everything in one book with one pen and do that challenge for the whole of July. But I will link down below, whichever way is below. I will link down below here some videos and stuff all about the challenge so you can see more about it. But basically, first I wanted to show you sort of what my process is, and then see whether I am going to do One Book July. So I've just collected here a whole heap of different things that I use in my planning. I'm also going to talk a little bit about my method and everything like that as well. So my main thing is I have like a book for each sort of facet that people seem to be using a lot in their planning. And I also have my phone here as a representation of technology. So I'm going to show you a bit about how I do all my planning and structure and stuff like that. I guess daily, what I look at daily is this 2015 book here. So let me just move these out of the way. So this is just a really cheap notebook that I got from Typo for the year of 2015, and it is a day to a page. So day to a page. I didn't actually start this until the end of April, I believe. I've just made like a little washi tab here for the year at a glance page, which I haven't actually used yet, but I would like to use this as a to track my exercise. In previous years I've done something like this to track my exercise. Every day that I do some exercise, I'd stick a little sticker in the day, and then you can open up, look at your year and see at a glance how often you've been exercising. At the moment though, I am currently I'm 39 weeks pregnant, so hopefully any day now I will no longer be pregnant, but I probably won't be, because of that, I probably won't be doing proper exercise until August. So that's what I'm sort of planning to use with that. Anyway, so let me just open up at a random page here. This is the book here. I use this book to record my daily to-dos. So I have everything split up into categories because when I first bought this book, I wasn't doing that. So like here, I was just doing a brain dump of all the things that I wanted to do in a day, and then I would tick them off as I do them. But I've evolved that now into this process where I have different categories for the things that I want to do in a day. And I've just written down, if we go to a blank page, so I've just written down the categories that I want to split up of the type of things that I want to do in a day. So I've got exercise, cleaning, content, marketing, business, home, and meal. And they're meaningful to me. So I've decided to start just dividing up my days into those categories so I can see what kind of things that I'm getting done each day. And then I do a bit of a brain dump and put down all the tasks that I want to do today. I am a planner, so I always end up writing way more down than I could possibly do in a day. But that's just the way it works. So then what I do is I usually just cross off with a pen, cross off things that I don't end up doing, and I use with a highlighter, I highlight the things I do. Why I highlight is because it gives me a sense of achievement. Highlighting is lots of fun, but it also means that I can actually see easily what it was that I did each day. So that's my daily thing. I was in the past doing like a bullet journal, so it's evolved from bullet journal to like just a plain list kind of thing. Back here, some lists, to like a plain list kind of thing, to this category based one. The reason why I stopped doing my daily to-dos bullet journal style is because I didn't have a good way to forward plan my to-dos, and I like to do that. So I like to say, like for instance, this day I wrote down that I wanted it to be a writing day where I do lots of writing, and I ended up writing 4 blog posts on that day, so it was a successful day. But yeah, things like forward planning things I want to do, and also forward planning things I need to do. And it's so much easier now that I have, when I've got a spare moment, like if I'm watching a YouTube video or something like that, I'll just get out my red pen or whatever and start filling in the days ahead with what I want, like with all my categories. So it's not a pain, not yet anyway. Maybe it will be in the future. But that's how I do my daily to-dos. Tied in with that is my electronic system. So on my phone here, I've got like a little calendar, just like a little reminder to-do thing, not to-dos, sorry, a reminder of like my appointments and stuff. And I also just have a calendar there that I can bring up quickly, and it is all color coordinated with different categories of things. And this one is, my main like use is Google Calendar. So on my computer I use Google Calendar, but I also do input into here as well. So on this one I have like a huge range of things. I've got my appointments. So I've got like a personal calendar, and it has all my appointments in there. So when it comes to the day, I usually write down in the home category what my appointments are for the day, but I can have a good clear overview on my phone of my appointments. I also use Google Calendar as an editorial calendar for my blog. So here, let me see. All the green things are my unpublished blog or YouTube videos. The red ones are the ones that I've currently got scheduled, all ready to go up on YouTube. And then I also have a pink category. Let's see, a previous month. Here's a pink. The pink category is all my published blog posts. So yeah, it's really easy for me to see my editorial calendar. The reason I really like doing it on technology is because I am changing my mind so many damn times. I used to have a month-to-month calendar, and I would use a pencil, and I'd plan it out. I'd erase with my eraser all the things that I change, and then I would write it in pen once it'd be published and set in stone. But I found it really cumbersome to be always like erasing, because I really do change around my editorial calendar so much that I just found it was just so much easier to use a electronic based one where I could just drag and drop everything. So yeah, so far I have my electronic calendar. This is actually the one that I carry around with me because I have my phone with me all the time. So this one, if I need to see what's happening today, I have everything in here. This one here stays at home. I've never taken it with me. Basically because all the things that I need to do are usually at home, like cleaning is at home, and I've got my home section which is like family and homes type of things. And then this big, huge 3 categories here are all about create mess my business. So the content side, the marketing side, and the business side. So I do all that at home as well. I don't go out and do it. If I have like a to-do list of things that I need to do in a day that is not at home, I will again use my phone, and for that I use Google Keep. So Google Keep, and with Google Keep you can make like little checklists. This one's not a to-do, but it's actually a to-buy that's a bit out of date now. But so I can do checklists on Keep, Google Keep. And I have like all these notes as well. But that's what I use if I need to go out and do things. It's really easy for me as well to go Google Keep and then create a new one. Oops, let me go back. I'll create a checklist. So I can easily create a checklist on the fly on my phone, or even easier on the computer with my keyboard. So if I do have some to-do things that I need to do that are in here, I can quickly transfer them to my phone, and this is just easier to carry around with me than this big book. So this guy stays at home. So going on from there, talking about say my blog and my YouTube channel, I have this guy here, and he is again just from Typo, which is a really cheap stationery store here in Australia. This is my everything book, and I call this my life planner. And in here I have a whole heap of stuff for create mess and my personal life and everything. And basically it becomes a sort of catch-all for everything. So if I'm working on my blog and I'm doing blog posts or something, I will write down my ideas. Let me see if I can find a quick example. Probably can't find it quickly. Oh, this is an example of my YouTube videos. I will, just jot down the things that I want to mention in my YouTube videos. And then like my diary here that I highlight when I'm done, I just cross it out when it's done. That way I can see at a glance that this page is complete. I don't need to look at this page anymore. But say I do want to go back and see what I talked about in this video, for example, I can easily read what it is because it's only a highlighter and hasn't been crossed out. So I know I can disregard that page in general. But yeah, I also do my meal planning. So that's like an example of my meal planning and my shopping list. Here's my current one, which I've got like over 2 weeks. So I've got meal planning in here, I've got my blog, my vlogging, and then I've got a whole heap of like business notes in here, ideas. I also do things like shopping lists. Just saw, this one was for my, I'm doing a cross stitch, so I actually wrote down all the colored threads that I needed. What else? Book release dates, so all the books coming out soon that I want to purchase, so for the rest of the year. So this is just like an anything goes and everything goes kind of book. This one I admit that sometimes I do take places with me. So it's an A5 size. Oop, there's my phone. So it's an A5 size, and I do sort of take it with me sometimes. Like in that case of the thread for my project, I took that with me. This is another shopping list I have here for baby related things. I ended up, once this was done, and I had a couple of things left over, I actually ended up transferring it through to my Google Keep. But sometimes, you're like on your way out the door and you're like, oh, I'm going shopping, I've got my things written down I need, I'm just going to take this book with me. So that's one thing that I sometimes do take with me if I'm not organized enough to have put it in a digital format. So that's my my life planner, my life organizer. The other two things that I see people include in this one book July challenge is a what's it called? A sketchbook and a written journal. And I have these two things in two separate books. So I have my art journal. This is basically just a sketch, having fun sort of sketchbook, not really serious. Some studies, but also lots of doodling and just playing around and not really taking anything seriously. And then different things here, like also some ideas for projects that I'd like to do. This was like scrapbooking sort of related. And this is for a fox canvas that I'm planning on doing. So yeah, that's my sketchbook. And I have this in a separate book. I know a lot of people like to make their planners really pretty and they're always fun to watch. But for me, this is functional. And I don't waste time prettying this up. And this is functional. And I don't waste time making this pretty either. But that means I have more time to separately do things like my art in a separate book. So that's the way I see it. I feel like that it is more enjoyable for me to do this separately. And I don't really need to make this pretty. This is more just of a reference. And the last thing I have here is my written journal. So in here I do collect things like photos, and I'm not sure if I've got many photos, but I've got like cards that I've been given. I've got business cards in here for things that I bought. That was a gift card that I spent. Thing for the glucose tolerance test in here. So I do stick in some things, movie tickets, things like that. But for the most part, this is a private written journal, just all about what happens in my day-to-day life and my thoughts and my dreams and my hopes. So that is this book, also from Typo, because they're cheap. But I don't always buy from Typo. This is just what I've got at the moment for my written journal. I have been keeping one almost daily, but not quite daily. At least once a week, usually, I'll write in here. And I've been keeping one of these since 2013. So I have quite a few books now. This one's been going from March this year. And past the halfway mark now. Where am I? There. So I'm past the halfway mark. I think I'll get another 2 months or so. Maybe 3 months. But I think probably 2 months out of this. So yeah, that's my written journal. And again, I keep it separate from everything else. This is my brain dump. This one's really beaten up because I do take this places. I often do a lot of travel places by bus. So I do get a lot of my writing done on the bus. And if it's not on the bus, then I try and keep it on my desk or my bedside table. And I do a bit of writing in there. And so this is kind of my daily release. So they're the kinds of journals that I see people including into their one book July. Again, with all of these, I don't really have like a special pen or a lot of pens, or I do a bit of color coding like here. Oh. So I've got some color coding there, and I'm going to do a future video on this, on explaining how like these color codes sort of work. It's an idea from DIY Fish that I got a few years ago, and I'm not sure if it's the same now, but it's just I've evolved it over the years. That's really the only sort of color coding. Otherwise, I really just grab whatever I've got on hand, whatever color highlighter I've got on hand. So to answer the question, am I doing one book July? The answer is no, because I feel like the whole idea of one book July is to really simplify your process. And I feel like over the years I have just naturally simplified my process. Things do evolve. Like, as I said, starting of this year, I was actually using this guy for everything. So if you go back to the beginning, here's my daily to-dos. I haven't even dated this one. So yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then that has evolved to here's a big daily list, and that has evolved to my categories type of one. So I feel like my planning is always evolving, but I don't feel like it's overly complex or needs changing at the moment. I'm really happy with this sort of system. These two I have with me daily, and these two I use as needed. And they each serve a specific purpose. And then, of course, my Google Calendar, I am looking at that daily as well. So I really feel like if I was to do some kind of One Book July, these guys would stay because it's my sketchbook. I'm going to take that out when I sketch. This is my written journal. I'm gonna write in this when I feel like writing. I could probably do a One Book July on my Google Calendar. I could get my daily to-do lists and put it in tasks and stuff like that in my Google Calendar. Or if you could include Google Calendar and Google Keep as, one book, then I could do it all, digitally. But I like the physical process of each day in the morning, sitting down and going, what am I going to do today? Writing down what I'm going to do, and then highlighting off once something's done. And at the end of the day, I cross off things that I haven't done and then transfer them to a future date. I really like that process. It's really fun for me. So I'm going to keep on doing that. And then using my life planner to, I guess, dig down deeper into my tasks. So have my daily tasks and use this guy to plan out more thoroughly what it is that each of the tasks is going to be, if it needs to be, dug down deeper. So this is where I write all that kind of stuff down. So yeah, the answer is no, I'm not going to specifically be doing a One Book July. I really feel like my planning system at the moment is just working easily for me. It doesn't feel complicated to me. It might be complicated to other people because I have these different places for different things. But for me, it is already as simple as I feel like it should be. So I don't really feel like I need to be doing the One Book July. Saying that though, I am going to have a whole heap of videos coming out over the coming weeks about how I use all these systems and little tricks and tips and things like that I do use to make this system work for me. So if you are interested in a whole heap of planning sort of videos, do give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments that you're interested, and I will do a whole heap of videos on all different kind of organizational things. If you think that I'm being a bit crazy or I've jumped to the conclusion that I don't need to simplify my life, please also let me know in the comments below that you think that I'm being, whatever, and let me know what things you think I could do to make this process even more simpler. Because just because I'm not doing One Book July, I don't want to seem like I'm arrogant and, I know everything and my system's awesome. Open my eyes for sure. And, maybe even next year I might be singing a different tune. By the time July rolls around, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I really need to simplify everything. So yeah, don't be afraid to tell me what you think, how I can improve my system. These two books started with the same color, so you can see this guy comes with me places and this one just stays on my desk. How gross is that? But yeah, anyway, Thank you so much for watching. My name is Carlie Hamilton, and I will see you next time. Bye.